lesson, not for discussion. We play with drums like shit is percussion. Stay with a hammer like this is construction. Drink too much Henny, might shoot up.
What's good, YouTube Mascot? We back out with another video. Today's video, we got the top 3 best small forward builds as of patch 10 NBA 2K20. Now before we get into that, man, this video was highly requested. I told you guys not too long ago I was going to be bringing back the top 3 best build series. I already did point guards and centers, so make sure you guys check those videos out. But this was a highly requested one. A lot of people want to see small forward, so I just want to get that out the way. And also, make sure you guys do hit that like button, subscribe, because these videos do take a long time to make. I'm making this sort of content for you guys, man. So if you could show your appreciation by hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, it would mean a lot. And also, there are going to be timestamps in the comment section for all 3 builds, so make sure you guys check that out so you can find what build you like. But with all that stuff out the way, we don't get straight to the build. So the very first build is going to be the pure point forward. Make sure you guys make this build a small forward, and this other stuff does not matter. That's personal preference. Now moving on to skill breakdown with this build, man, it's a pure point forward. Obviously, there's no other pie chart to make this build besides the all playmaking pie chart. It's a pure point forward. Pure point forwards or playmaker, same thing. All have the max playmaking possible, so you got to pick this pie chart. It's gonna have pretty good finishing, pretty good shooting, nice playmaking, and decent defense. Now moving on to physical profile with this build, man, I would either pick 2 pie charts, either the all agility or the agility and vertical. Me personally, I recommend you pick this pie chart though, the agility and vertical, because look at the speed difference. 84 speed compared to an 88 speed. Not too big of a difference, but look at the vertical. 66 vertical compared to a 76 vertical. That's a 10-point difference. In my opinion, that is huge. The speed is not a big difference, but the vertical is a 10-point difference. I recommend you pick this pie chart, but if you want all agility, go ahead and do that. Now, moving on to attributes, man, make sure you guys do it just like this so you get the maximum badges possible. You're going to put your close shot to a 79. Now, let me just explain this real quick. Now, the reason we're putting it to a 79 is because if you go any higher than a 79, I mean, if you put it to 80 or higher, it's going to change your name to a slashing playmaker. So make sure it is a 79. Now, moving on to the driving layup, you're going to put this to a 79 as well, which I think is max. Actually, 2 points off of the max, no higher than that. Moving on to driving dunk, you're going to put this to a 76, which is max. And your staying dunk, you're going to put this to a 36, so you get 6 finishing badges. Now, moving on to shooting, you're going to put your mid-range shot to a 77, which is going to be 1 point off of max. Another thing I got to state here, you put it to a 78, it's going to change your name to mid-range playmaker. So make sure your mid-range is a 77, not max. Now, moving on to three-pointer, you are going to max this out. Your free throw, I think you max this, yeah, you max that out. And your post fade, you're going to put this to a 78, which is max, I believe. Yep. Now moving on to playmaking, you're going to put your pass accuracy to a 92, just like that. And your ball handling, you're going to max that out. Now these remaining 166 upgrades are going towards your defense. You're going to max out your perimeter defense, also max out your lateral quickness, also max out your steal, your block. You are going to put this to a 70, which is going to be 1 point off of the max. And your defensive rebounding, you're going to put this to an 80, which is also 1 point off of the max, or actually 2 points off of the max. And you guys can see, here's the build. You get 6 finishing, 15 shooting, 22 playmaking, and 7 defensive rebounding. You can add that up. That's a total of 50 badges for this pure point forward build. This is a very solid build. It's going to have pretty good finishing. It's going to be able to shoot, obviously dribble, and pretty decent defense. Now, like I said, make sure your close shot and your driving layup is not higher than a 79. If you put it any higher than that, it's going to change your name to slashing playmaker. Same with the shooting. Make sure your mid-range is a 77, no higher. If you put it to a 78, it's going to change your name to a mid-range playmaker. Very key things. But now moving on to this other stuff, man, body shape does not matter. I think I'm going to just pick define since it's a small 4, but like I say in every single one of my videos, you want to make your player built, burly, whatever. It does not matter whatsoever. However you want your player to look, go ahead and do that. Me personally, though, I'm going to just pick define. Now moving on to high with this build. Now keep in mind, if you want to speed boost off rip, so meaning as soon as you max out your ball handling, you're going to be able to speed boost. You have to make your build 6'7". Now, if you don't really care about speed boosting off rip and you want to be taller, the tallest you can go with this build is 6'8". You probably could go 6'9" too, honestly, if you lowered your wingspan all the way down. But 6'8" to be safe, because if you guys did not know, take a look at your ball handling. It's a 78. Yeah, you're not going to be able to speed boost with that, but if you pick playmaker takeover, you get a plus 10 to your ball handling when you have takeover. So 78 plus 10 is to be at 88 ball handling. You'll be able to speed boost with this build at 6'8 when you have playmaker takeover. If you don't care about being 6'7 and having tiny wingspan, you can make the player 6'8, but I'm going to make the player 6'7 so you can speed boost off rip. Now moving on to the weight with this build, you don't really need weight, so I think I'm going to just lower it all the way down just so you get some better acceleration, some better vertical, and some better lateral quickness. You can put this up if you want to, but I'm going to recommend you put it to the lowest. Moving on to the wingspan with this build, like I just said, we made the build 6'7" for a reason, to lower the wingspan all the way down so you get an 86 ball handling. You guys can see If you did not know, 86 ball handling is the ball handling you need to speed boost. So you'll be able to speed boost with this build with this lowest wingspan off rip. So keep that in mind. And you guys have an 80 mid range and a 75 3-pointer. This builds have pretty good shooting. This is very nice. Make sure you put your wingspan to that. Now moving on to takeovers, man. It's either playmaker or shot creator. I personally recommend playmaker because the build's name is point forward. You want to have this playmaker takeover to go along with your name, but if you really want shot creator, go ahead. But I personally recommend you pick playmaker. And you guys can see, here's the build. You have built a point forward similar to Latrell, Spreewell, Gordon Hayward, and DeMar DeRozan. 50 badges, but now we're gonna get straight into the best badges for this build, man. It's a 99 overall real quick. Now you guys can see 6 finishing badges. I also forgot to say, you have a 76 driving dunk. When you hit 99 overall, you get a +4 to all your attributes. 76 + 4, you're gonna have an 80 driving dunk. You're not gonna be able to get contact dunks, but you're gonna be able to get some good dunk packages, so keep that in mind. I personally recommend silver contact finisher with those badges on gold, but there are some other badges I feel you gotta have, so put it on silver. I also recommend you throw on silver giant slayer. You are only 6'7". This badge is activated when you go up against anybody that's 7 foot or taller. You got 2 upgrades left. I personally recommend, I would either do fancy footwork or slithery finisher. I think I'm gonna just do fancy footwork though, especially if you're ice swimming. You want to do some hop steps, some euro step layups that are hard to block, or dunks. So I'm recommending you throw on these 3 badges. But if you want consistent finisher, acrobat, slithery finisher, go ahead and do whatever you want to do. But this is what I recommend you do personally. Now moving on to shooting badges, you get 15 shooting badges. Could be 5 gold badges. I recommend gold quick draw. You don't have this badge on, you're not gonna be able to shoot. Pretty simple. I also recommend you throw on range extenders to help you shoot a lot deeper. I also recommend gold hot zone hunter. You have all your hot zones badges to help you shoot so much better. Green machine, you also want this badge on gold to help you shoot 10 times more greens. Then you got 3 badges left. I would probably either go difficult shots or Deadeye. Now it depends what you want. Deadeye's to help you shoot more contested, and difficult shots to help you fade better. Me personally, I do like difficult shots, so I'm gonna throw this badge on. But like I said, you want Deadeye or some other badge, go ahead and do that. But I recommend you throw on these badges. Now moving on to playmaking badges, man. 22 playmaking badges. I recommend Hall of Fame handles for days, quick first step, space creator, silver unpluckable, and Hall of Fame tie handle. Now you got 4 upgrades left. Actually, there's a lot of different combinations you can go with this last Hall of Fame badge. You can go floor general, you can go dimer, you can go lob city passer, flashy passer, bailout. There's plenty of good combinations. Whatever badge you want, I think I'm gonna recommend dimer. But like I said, you want some other badge, you can go ahead and do that. It's your build at the end of the day, but this is my personal recommendation. Now, moving on to defensive badges, man, you get 7 defensive badges. Now the first badge I feel like you gotta have is gold clamps. This badge is a must have to play good perimeter defense. Now you only got 4 upgrades left. There's 2 badges you gotta have: pick dodger and intimidator. Now there's different kind of combinations. You can either do 2 silver badges like something like this, or you can do 1 gold and 1 bronze. Honestly, I think I'm gonna recommend you do 2 silver badges though. It's gonna be the most balanced. You need pick dodger and you also need intimidator, so this is gonna be the best option. And clamps, that badge has to be gold. It's gonna help you play great perimeter defense. This is what I recommend you do for defensive badges. But that's build number 1, man. Let's get straight to build number 2 of this video. Moving on to build number 2 of this video, man, we got the facilitating finisher. Make this build a small forward, and this other stuff does not matter. That's personal preference. Now moving on to skill breakdown with this build, man. I know there's a couple pie charts you can use to make a facilitating finisher. You could pick this pie chart, or you can pick, I'm pretty sure I even saw the defensive and playmaking. You could probably pick another one, but today we are going to be picking the playmaking and finishing. So make sure you guys pick this pie chart. Now moving on to physical profile with this build, man, I would either pick all agility or the agility and vertical. With this build, you're gonna be able to get contact dunks, so I'd personally pick this one because you want to have high vertical so you can get out there and dunk. Look at the speed difference: 83 speed compared to an 86 speed, only 3-point difference, not too big of a difference. But look at the vertical: 72 vertical compared to an 84 vertical. That's a 12-point difference. In my opinion, that is huge. So I recommend you pick this pie chart. But if you want all agility, go ahead and do that. Now moving on to attributes, man, make sure you guys do it just like this so you get the maximum badges possible. You're gonna put your close shot to a 90, which is max. You also are gonna max out your driving layup, max out your driving dunk as well, and your standing dunk, you're gonna put this to a 44 so you get 16 finishing badges. Now moving on to shooting, you're gonna max out your mid-range shot, also max out your 3-point shot, also max out your free throw. Your post fade, you also are gonna max this out so you get 13 shooting badges. Now moving on to playmaking, you're gonna put your pass accuracy to an 86. You're gonna max out your ball handling, and your post moves, you're gonna put this to an 81, just like that. Now moving on to defensive badges, you're gonna max out your perimeter defense, also max out your lateral quickness, also max out your steal. Block, you're gonna put this to a 41, just like that. And these last 48 upgrades, you're gonna put your defensive rebounding to a 78, just like that. And you guys can see, Here's the build. You get 16 finishing, 13 shooting, 20 playmaking, and 5 defensive rebounding. You can add that up. That's a total of 54 badges for this facilitating finisher build. Now, I know there's going to probably be some people in the comment section saying, oh, my facilitating finisher gets 61 badges. Yeah, this build can get 61 badges, but the only thing is, you're going to have 1 defensive badge. The defense is going to be too terrible on this build. So I want to have some defensive badges, so I did have to sacrifice on some finishing and some playmaking. So I recommend you make the build just like this. Now, moving on to body shape, man, like I say in every single one of my videos, it does not matter whatsoever however you want your player to look. I'm going to just pick the fine, but if you want something else, it doesn't matter, go ahead. Now, moving on to the height with this build, I personally recommend you make the build either 6'7" or 6'8". Here's the advantage of making the build 6'7". So 6'7", you don't have to make T-Rex arms because you'll be able to speed boost with the default wingspan if you pick playmaker, slash, or takeover. Now, if you make your player 6'8", you're going to be taller, but you're going to have to do T-Rex arms to be able to speed boost, so it's not going to be worth it, honestly. I would make the build 6'7", so you have longer wingspan, you're going to play better defense, so I'm going to recommend you make the build 6'7", and plus, when you're 6'7", you have an 85 driving dunk, you'll be able to get the pro, elite, and small contact dunks off rip, because you have that 85 driving dunk, so I recommend you make the build 6'7". Moving on to the weight with this build, I recommend you lower the weight all the way down to 180 pounds to get some better acceleration, some better vertical, and some better lateral quickness. Now, moving on to the wingspan with this build, like I said, you don't have to lower your wingspan all the way down if you want a speed boost. If you want to, you can go ahead and do it, it doesn't matter. But I know some people are saying, oh, I don't want to have tiny T-Rex arms with a 6'7" player. I completely understand. You don't have to do this. You can either go default wingspan. I would recommend you do default wingspan if you want to do T-Rex arms. Shooting is decent. And look at your ball handling. You have a 78 ball handling. You're probably thinking, oh, I'm not going to be able to speed with that. Because when you hit 99 overall, you get a plus 4 to all your attributes. 78 plus 4. You're going to have an 82 ball handling at 99 overall with this build. You're not going to be able to speed boost with that, but keep in mind, if you pick playmaker or slash or takeover, it gives you a plus 10 to your ball handling when you have takeover. So 78 plus 10 is going to be an 88 ball handling with playmaker or slash or takeover. So you'll be able to speed boost. If you really want to, you can put your wingspan to 86.6, and you'll still be able to speed boost if you pick playmaker or slash or takeover. But I wouldn't do that just because your shooting drops too much. I would just do default wingspan, which is 83.8. But like I said, you want to do lowest wingspan for better shooting, better ball handling, go ahead and do that. But I'm going to recommend you do medium wingspan. Now, moving on to takeovers, man, like I just explained, you want to speed boost this build, you have to pick playmaker or slasher. I personally recommend you pick slasher because it's going to give you a plus 10 to your ball handling still, and it's going to help you dunk a lot better. Keep in mind, you're going to be able to get contact with this build. When you have slasher takeover, man, your player is going to be an absolute beast. I highly recommend you pick slasher, but if you want playmaker, go ahead. If you really want post score, it's an option. But I mean, I would recommend picking this. I recommend you pick slasher. And you guys can see, here's the build. You have built a facilitating finisher similar to DeMar DeRozan, Latrell Sprewell, and Kawhi Leonard. Very solid build, 54 badges. I'm gonna get straight into the best badges for this build, man, just like I do in every single one of my videos. You got 54 badges. I gotta show you guys my personal recommendation for what to do with these badges. Put this to 99 overall real quick. Like I said, man, you're gonna be able to get contact dunks to this build off rip. So you want Hall of Fame contact finishers, you get contact dunks, obviously. I also recommend Hall of Fame Sluthery finisher. Now you got 2 Hall of Fame badges left. I'll personally throw on Hall of Fame Giant Slayer. You are only 6'7". This badge is activated when you go up against anybody that is 7 feet or taller, so keep that in mind. I got 1 Hall of Fame badge left. I would either go Fancy Fork or Lob City finisher, even consistent finisher. Now if you're one of those people that likes catching alley-oops, I would highly recommend Lob City finisher. Fancy Fork, I think, is going to be the best option. Now, when you're driving, you do a hop step. Everybody knows hop steps are very overpowered in this game. This Fancy Fork badge would be very nice. I recommend you throw these 4 badges on, but you can change it up, do whatever you want to do. Now, moving on to shooting badges, you get 13 shooting badges. I recommend Gold Quick Draw. You don't have this badge on, you're not going to be able to shoot. Pretty simple. I also recommend Gold Range Extender to help you shoot a lot deeper. I also recommend Gold Hot Zone Hunter. You have all your Hot Zone badges help you shoot so much better. Now you got 4 upgrades left. There's a couple badges I will go with personally, either Green Machine, Difficult Shots, or Deadeye, whatever badges you want. I think personally I'm gonna do Silver Green Machine and Silver Difficult Shots. Silver Difficult Shots help you fade a lot better. Green Machines help you shoot a lot more greens. Now, like I said, you want Deadeye Volume Shooter. The options are there, but this is what I recommend you do personally. Now, moving on to playmaking badges, man, you get 20 playmaking badges to be 5 Hall of Fame badges. I personally recommend Hall of Fame Handles for Days, Quick First Step, Space Creator. Now I got 2 Hall of Fame badges left. I'm gonna do Hall of Fame tight handles. Now here's the thing, you are gonna have to compromise if you want Floor General, Bailout, Dime, or Lob City. Any of these type of badges, you have to compromise. But if you don't want any of those badges, I think I'm gonna recommend you do this combination right here. This could be the best combination to help you get open personally. But like I said, you want Diamond Floor General, you're gonna have to compromise, but this is what I recommend you do personally. Now moving on to defensive badges, man, 5 defensive badges. Now you only got 5 defensive badges, not the most in the world, so you do have to compromise a lot here. So I personally recommend silver clamps. This badge has to be silver at least. Now you only got 3 upgrades left. The 2 badges you gotta have, Intimidator and Pick Dodger. I think personally, I'm gonna do Silver Intimidator and Bronze Pick Dodger. Now, like I said, 5 defensive badges is not a whole lot, so you do have to compromise a lot. I think that's gonna be the best combination. But like I said in every single one of my videos, you can change this up, do whatever you want to do. But that's build number 2, man. Let's get straight into the final build of this video. Moving on to the final build of this video, we got the rebounding wing build, so make sure you guys make it a small 4, and this other stuff does not matter. That's personal preference. Now moving on to skill breakdown with this build, man. I don't know if you can make this build any other pie chart. The only pie chart I'm 100% aware of you can use to make this build is going to be the defense and shooting pie chart. Everybody knows you got to use this pie chart to make this build. This is a very common build. A lot of people have it, so make sure you guys do pick this pie chart. Now moving on to physical profile with this build. Honestly, I think I'm gonna recommend you pick the balanced pie chart with this build because it's a rebounding wing. This build can play defense on center, so you do want to have some good strength, but I don't want to pick the second or third pie chart and lose out on vertical or strength you guys see here. So I recommend you pick this one because you still got good speed, you still got good vertical, and you got that extra strength. Now moving on to attributes, man, make sure you guys do it just like this to get the maximum badge as possible. You are gonna max out your close shot. You also are gonna max out your driving layup. Also max out your driving dunk and your standing dunk. You're gonna put this to a 52, so you get 6 finishing badges just like that. Now moving on to shooting, you're gonna max out your mid-range shot, also max out your 3-point shot, also max out your free throw and your post fade. You are gonna put this to a 69, so you get 16 shooting badges. Moving on to defense, you're gonna put your interior defense to a 70, which is gonna be 2 points off of the max. Perimeter defense, you're gonna max this out. Max out every single stat now. So you're gonna max out lateral quickness, max out your steal, max out your block, and max out both of the rebounding. You're gonna max out your offensive rebounding, and of course, max out the defensive rebounding to an 86. And you guys can see, here's the build. You get 6 finishing, 16 shooting, 1 playmaking, and 20 defensive and rebounding. You can add that up. That's a total of 43 badges for this rebounding wing build. Everybody knows this build. This is one of the best small forward builds just because it has great shooting. You're going to have great defense, a pretty decent finishing, pretty iconic small forward build right here. Make sure you guys make it just like this. Now moving on to body shape, man. Like I say in every single one of my videos, it does not matter whatsoever. However you want your player to look, go ahead and do that. Me personally though, I'm just pick build. Now moving on to height with this build, I would personally recommend you make the build 6'9", and the reason why I'm telling you that 6'9" is pretty tall. You're gonna be able to play some pretty good defense on taller players and centers and stuff like that. But at a 6'9", you still have a 70 speed, so you'll be able to keep up with guards still at this height. So it's very nice. I recommend you make the build 6'9". Now moving on to the weight with this build, you did pick the strength pie chart, the balanced pie chart, so you want to put some weight on your player. I'm not saying max the weight out. I'm gonna put the weight to 230 pounds. Not super heavy, they're going to be super slow, but I want some weight on this player because you did pick strength. You want to have some high strength. I recommend you make the build 230 pounds. Now moving on to the wingspan with this build, I recommend maxing it all the way out. You're a rebounding wing, you're pretty much a lockdown defender. You got to have long wingspan so you can grab rebounds, play great defense. You're still going to be able to shoot. You have 16 shooting badges, and you have a 75 mid-range, 72 3-pointer. You're still going to be able to shoot with those stats. I recommend you max your wingspan out. Now moving on to takeovers, man. It's either glass cleaner, lockdown, or sharpshooter. I personally recommend you pick lockdown defender. This badge helps you play so much better defense on guards and centers. It's going to be a very nice badge, but if you want a sharpshooter or glass cleaner, the options are there. But I highly recommend you pick lockdown defender. And you guys can see, here's the build. You have built a rebounding wing similar to Sean Marion, Michael Porter Jr., and Jonathan Isaac. Very nice build, 43 badges. But now to get straight to the best badges for this build, man, 43 badges. Like I show you guys my personal recommendations for the badges like I do in every single one of my videos. Let's put this to 99 overall real quick, just like that. Now you guys see, you have a 70 driving dunk, no contact dunks with this build, so keep that in mind. But I still recommend you throw on silver contact finisher. I think I'm also going to recommend you throw on giant, so you are only 6'9". This badge is activate when you go up against anybody that's 7'2" or taller, so keep that in mind. You don't have to throw the badge on, but I recommend you do. Now you got 2 badges left. I'd probably either throw on fancy forward, lob city finisher, or even slithery finisher. It's whatever you want to do. I'm gonna recommend you throw on fancy forward, but like I said, if you want some other badges, there's plenty of good options. You can change it up, do whatever you want to do. Now moving on to shooting badges, man. 16 shooting badges. You want Hall of Fame quick draw. Obviously, you don't have this badge on, you're not going to be able to shoot. It's really that simple. You gotta have this badge on. Range extender, I recommend you throw this badge on, at least gold. Since you got the extra upgrades, you might as well do Hall of Fame. Now, hot zone hunter, I also recommend this badge. Hall of Fame, yeah, or hot zones, this badge will help you shoot so much better. Now you got one Hall of Fame badge left. I would either go Green Machine Hall of Fame or Deadeye. Deadeye to help you shoot more contested, but Green Machine to help you shoot 10 times more green. So I recommend Hall of Fame Green Machine. But like I say in every single video, you can change this up, do whatever you want to do. Now moving on to playmaking badges, we need to upgrade one playmaking stat. So I'm gonna recommend bailouts to help you pass out of jump shots, layups, stuff like that. If you want quick first step or unpluggable, go ahead. I recommend you do bailout. Now moving on to defensive badges, man, 20 defensive badges. I recommend Hall of Fame brick wall. You're most likely to be setting screens with this build. You need this badge. And I also recommend Hall of Fame intimidator to make people miss shots. I also recommend Hall of Fame clamps to help you play so much better perimeter defense. And I got 2 Hall of Fame badges left. Your rebounding wing, I feel like you gotta have Hall of Fame rebound chasers so you can snag them rebounds out there. You got 1 Hall of Fame badge left. There are a couple of different options you can go with this. You can go rim protector, you can go pogo stick, or you can go interceptor, or even post move lockdown. I think I'm going to lean towards the post move lockdown. Now let me just explain some stuff real quick. If you're planning on using the 6'9" rebounding wing as a center, meaning if you're playing twos and you're planning on playing the center with this build, you are going to want to have on post move lockdown. You're going to go up against plenty of post scores. If you don't have this badge on, you're not going to be able to play any type of defense on any type of post score. So just keep that in mind. I recommend throw this badge on. Another badge, maybe rim protector, but I think post move lockdown is going to be the best option. Like I said, you're playing twos, you're gonna need this badge to play any type of defense on a post score. If you don't have this badge on, you're not gonna be able to play any defense. That's what I recommend you do for defensive badges. But that's pretty much it, man. That's the top 3 best small forward builds as a patch 10 NBA 2K20. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did enjoy this video, man, make sure you guys do hit that like button, subscribe. Once again, man, I'm not sure if I said this already, but we just hit 14K subs. Thank you guys so much for that. You're watching this video right now. You like what you see. Do hit that subscribe button, man. Turn on notifications. And also, did already upload a top 3 best point guards and centers. So if you haven't seen those already, make sure you guys do check that out. And whenever I get some more time, I will be making another top 3 best build video. Still got to do shooting guards and power forwards. So make sure you guys do subscribe. Turn on notifications so you don't miss those videos. But that's pretty much it, man. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. Until next time, clutch out.
I'm feeling your energy, and shorty, man, she really into me. I got lots of enemies, and they wanna act like they friends with me.